Hey guys, welcome back to Weekenders on the Water. Today we're here in the garage, and today we're going to be upgrading the battery on this 2021 Seadoo GTI SE170. So if you want to know if it's worth the upgrade, then you're in the right place. Make sure you stick around, check it out, hit that subscribe button, and let's go.
Let's go.
Alright, so this is how the battery comes. I'll open it up here. Nice packaging. Basically, we got an instruction manual, lots of warnings. Also, it's in about every language known to man, so it's really only about 4 pages long. Inside that, we got some filler, we got little spacers, a Allen wrench, and then here's the battery, and again, it has even more spacers. So the idea is that between all these spacers, you should be able to make it fit whatever size battery you replace it with. So like I said, it is quite a bit smaller and a bit lighter than the stock battery we're going to pull out, so we're going to use a couple spacers to kind of fill up the gap. On the other side here, you got the terminals, look really nice, brass Allen key to install your to connect your terminals, and that Allen key was provided, so good news there. It's also got this removable piece here, which basically if you had a sort of battery mount that needs a clamp on, you take that off and then you'll have the space, but we don't need to do that since our battery is square. So on the 2020 and newer model Seadoos, they put the battery in the engine compartment. On the older skis, it was up front. It was a lot easier to get to. I don't know why they moved it here. I guess probably for better center of mass, but it's a real pain in the something that rhymes with mass. And you can see here too on this 2021, I got some grease on me already. On the 2021, we have the blue battery tie down. On the 2020s, it'll be a double black. That double black one is even harder to get off. So if you got a double black one, I feel sorry for you. But ultimately, it's really not too bad. You just kind of got to know how to do it. Here on the 2021, we'll move this cooling line out of the way. It just pulls up out of the way, and then you can see pretty easy access to the battery down here. As I mentioned, we have the 2021 that has the blue strap on it, which is a single strap. It's a little bit more stretchy than if you got the 2020 version. It'll have a double black strap, and that double black strap is a real pain to pull that off. But it's basically the same mechanism either way. The blue strap is just a little bit easier. So first thing that we want to do is obviously take off our terminals, and we will start with our negative side. That was the mistake I made last time in the last video, and everyone got upset about it. Yeah. So yeah, start off with the negative side because it's safer, because that gets rid of all the grounds in the whole system. Basically, we just take a screwdriver and stick it down there. Big thing is you want to make sure that you don't lose the screw into the bottom of the hull. You'll have a hard time finding it.
Have we done that before?
No. Okay. All right, so there's one screw. That's the negative side. We'll make sure that we set the negative terminal out of the way. And I also have a separate connection there for my bilge pump too, so you probably won't have these extra two smaller black and red. And so we'll do the red side now, the positive side, and I recommend just getting it started there a little bit with your screwdriver, and then probably just finish taking it out by hand, so that way you have less chance of dropping it. You could also put a towel down in there to try to catch it, but it's kind of tight quarters no matter what you do. And we'll put a video in the description down below where we actually install that bilge pump, so if you want to check that out and how to do it, then link in the description below. Alright, so there's the second one. I'm going to remove that positive terminal, get it all out of the way. So now we've taken the red terminal off, moved it out of the way, so now both terminals are off the battery. Alright, so for the next part, I recommend putting on a glove, because there are some sharp edges down there that can cut your hand. Alright, so as I mentioned too, we'll just grab this coolant line and kind of fold it up out of the way. So to take the battery out, we're going to grab a hold of the back end of the strap. We're just going to grip it and push it down, and then there'll be a lip that it'll slide off of. You'll get a better view once we take it off. So not too bad. You can see just got a buckle on the other end that basically just hooks on to like there's a plastic piece down there, slightly offset from the center. So the front end doesn't come off, I don't believe. I've never gotten it off, so slide that out of the way. So then you see there's a little metal piece here there's a little tab on the top. You just push that out of the way, just enough to get the battery free. So we'll push that with our thumb, grip down in there, and just pull up. And then the whole thing should just come right out. You kind of have to turn it sideways, and it can be a little bit tricky, especially I got this bilge pump wire in the way, but there it goes. All right, so there you have it. Here is our stock battery. It is a Deka Sports Power EXT absorbed glass mat technology. So basically a lead acid battery, 12 volt. I've lost the sticker off the top. It's come off after a couple of years of being in there and getting sprayed with Seadoo lube. We'll put a clip in here from the last video showing what that sticker looks like. I believe it was 330 cold cranking amps. All right, but you'll see on the sticker the CCA cold cranking amps. That's what you want to match if you're going to replace this with a new battery. Make sure they got at least as many cold cranking amps or more. So our new lithium battery here is 500 cold cranking amps. So it should be much more powerful than the Deka. It's also a lot smaller, and the weight is night and day difference. This thing, you could do your curls with that, and this thing, it's like there's nothing there. It is a bit narrower, but that really shouldn't be too much of a problem. But what we want to do is we want to match the spacers here to get it to be roughly the same height. Remove them one at a time until it fits, until it's about the same size. So that's pretty close. Maybe we can try taking one of these thicker ones off, try two of the smaller ones. So we got the thickest spacer and the two smallest spacers. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and slide it back in there the same way that we took the other one out. All right, so we'll pull that coolant hose up out of the way, and now we'll just slide the whole thing on back down in there. And one of the spacers fell off, so this may be the trickiest part of it. Trying to make sure those spacers stay on. So I've just pushed the spacers in there first, and I can feel that they're securely in there front to back, and then we'll set the battery on top of the spacers. So let's try to give that a shot. All right, so we've got the battery sitting down in there now. I had to turn it around from my original plan so that the terminals are facing towards the bow now, which is kind of how it was on the old battery, but the terminals are reversed. So now this side, the port side, is going to be the negative, and the starboard side is the positive. So I have to switch the wires around. So the reason I had to put it this way is that metal bracket there. If I have it turned around the other way backwards, then it'll short those two terminals out, and that's exactly what we want to try to avoid. Now we'll try to get that blue strap back in there. So this is the part that a lot of people seem to struggle with. A lot of people seem to struggle with that blue strap, and one of the things that can help you is if you get like an old screwdriver, and I haven't done it here yet, but you could take like a Dremel tool and just make a notch out of your flathead there, give that bracket somewhere to sit, and then you can use the screwdriver to kind of force your way down in there. I personally have never had much of a problem with it. A lot of people seem to struggle. Like I said, I think for the double black strap, the 2020s, it's probably a lot harder, but for the blue strap, I just grab a hold of it, again with a glove for extra grip, and just kind of force it down on there, and it seems to work just fine. All right, so that's what we're gonna do now. I'll go ahead and grab that black strap, and like I said, it's off center here to the right. Yeah. So there it is. It's on there. That ain't going nowhere. Next up, we'll take the included Allen key, loosen those terminals, and attach it to the Seadoo. All right, so we want to start with the positive side. So that's this side here. And I'm probably just going to go ahead and do the same thing I told you before. Just kind of loosen it with the tool and then finish it with by hand, so that way you don't drop it. There it is. You can see it's a fairly small bolt too, so not a whole lot of room to play. All right, we'll move our positive line over here, and I need to find, there's my positive for the bilge pump. All right, so we'll go ahead and thread that through. And I wish that they made this a little bit longer. I'm worried I'm going to drop it. Maybe I could use the old one.
What's going to happen? You can talk about it later. Okay.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, guys, so getting this battery connected is a real pain. I almost don't recommend it just from that perspective. The normal lead acid ones are way easier. I've never had much of a problem taking my old one out. I've taken it out and putting it back in several times without too much issue, but this one, I kind of struggled with. As I showed, those the terminal bolts are really small, like that tiny, so you don't really have a whole lot of wiggle room there in order to thread it through your wires and hook it on there. Because the terminals are in a different place than the lead acid ones, you have to switch your wires over, and they're not very long, and there's not a whole lot of flexibility to them, so it makes it hard to kind of cross them over as well. But I did eventually manage, and I had to do it off camera because I dropped one of the things, which took a while to fish out. None of that would be safe for YouTube. We would definitely get monetized. We would definitely get demonetized in a second. Not that we're monetized now, which is a good reminder to subscribe, because we're like 70 more subscribers away from being monetized on this channel, and we'd really appreciate that if you want to help us out. But anyways.
So are you admitting that you used all the cuss words?
Yeah, several of them. But anyways, like I said, I went ahead and I hooked it up off camera, and I'll show you what I did and try my best to explain it, because you wouldn't have been able to see it when I did it anyways, because you would have just saw the back of my hand anyhow. So let's take a look. I use the screwdriver here to point to things. This is the positive side. I went ahead and connected it to the top, as you can see there. I actually used the old terminal bolts off of the Deka to put in there because it's a little bit longer, so it gave me a little bit more wiggle room. Connected that one to the top. On the negative side here, I had to run the grounding wire around the back of the battery. To the side, there's actually connection points on both this side and that side of the battery. Again, I put the Deka screw on this side, connected all of my negative in there, and then used a stubby screwdriver or a 10mm flexible ratchet to get that attached too. So it's in there. This is what I mean when I say that the 10mm, get yourself one of these. These things are great. Put a link in the description down below where I picked these up on Amazon. They're super cheap and
worth it.
Yeah, fit in a lot of places. All right, so now all that's left to do is to test it out. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the key, and we'll push the start button. Hopefully it cranks over in about 1 or 2 cranks. Let's see. Turns on. No lights up here. So it starts up. So I guess it took what, 3 cranks if you count them, but it definitely seemed quicker. The other on the other battery,
click,
it was like it was longer in between cranks. So we'll test it out. And so if you want to know like long term of this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm definitely going to be giving like a 1-year review around this time next year, and we'll find out did my Seadoo catch on fire and sink. So hit that subscribe button.
Jesus.
All right, guys. So that's all that there is. That's all that there is to it. It's that easy.
Is it though?
No, it's not easy. It can be done. I did it. I think this is the first video on YouTube about putting one of these in a Seadoo, because I have not found another video of it, and there's probably a reason why. Like I said, I came this close to telling you not to buy one, not to do it, and returning the sucker, and the Dekas are about the same price, honestly. So I was just kind of hoping for that little bit more power. It seems like it starts up great. Definitely going to be lighter, which doesn't really make too big of a difference, but a couple pounds is a couple pounds.
And hopefully your house doesn't burn down.
Yeah, and hopefully the house doesn't burn down. I don't think it will. So let's talk about safety with these. These batteries do come with an onboard battery maintenance system that's built into the battery, so that'll actually prevent it from overcharging, over discharging. So it should theoretically prevent it from having any issues. It's also sealed as well too, so they're meant for watercraft. You shouldn't have any water get in there, intrusion into the battery. So that's another safety feature. So if you're charging your battery, they do take a special type of trickle charger. You have to get one that has a lithium option. So this is the Noco Genesis 2. So it's made by the same company that makes that battery. And this charger can be used for lead acid or lithium. So just make sure you select the correct mode when you hook up your charger, and you're good to go. My older style charger here, this battery tender, has served me well. I've had this for a long time. This is kind of like an industry standard and kind of a bit of an antique at this point, but it does not work on lithium batteries. So make sure that you buy one, and make sure you buy a charger that is compatible with lithium batteries. All right, so that's it. So with that being said, we're out of here, and we'll see you next weekend. And special kudos to my lovely wife, who has been the amazing camera operator on this video, and hasn't divorced me for saying too many cuss words.
And I did not put you up to that, but thank you, babe. I love you too. Bye.
So that ended up being way harder than I thought it was going to be.
We learned some new words today, didn't we?
Not a finger. All right, so on the 20.
Wait, you're the back. Okay, okay.
It's just.
Oh my god.
But we don't need that.
What are we doing? How do you install a lithium battery with only 4 pages of warnings?
Well, it's not hard. The instructions aren't hard.
Okay.
All right. Do I need to say it all again?
No, but that red thing right there, that's the battery, right?
That's one of the terminals.
Okay, so I think I was just filming like the blue strap
Okay.
one.
Attach it to the car, or attach it to the Seadoo.